Hi everyone, my name is Nicholas Martin. Today I'm going to go over some basic steps when dealing with firearms. The first thing that I wanted to go over with you is to talk to you about how to properly perform a function check on any type of assault rifle. In performing this function check, the first thing you want to make sure you do is take the weapon and place it on safe, remove the magazine. At that time, go ahead and slide your bolt to the rear, lock it in so that it'll stay left to the rear. Gently tip that weapon down and look, make sure there's no obstruction in the barrel. That time you can go ahead and close the chamber. This time, make sure that your weapon is still on safe. Go ahead and squeeze that trigger, make sure that the safety is actually performing right. That time, if it does not click or the hammer does not fall, then this is properly checked. At that time, you're going to want to cock the charging handle one time, slide it back to the rear, place the weapon on fire, and squeeze the trigger. Hold that trigger and slowly release it. If you hear a click, then that means that it's performing properly. Next, go ahead and place that weapon back on safe. Charge the weapon again. Place it on burst. At that time, when you pull the charging handle back, make sure that you release it. Squeeze the trigger, hold the trigger to the rear, and then with the trigger still to the rear, charge the weapon 3 times, release it. It's going to make a slight click if it's performing properly. Then take it, squeeze the trigger again, and the hammer should fall. That time, place your weapon back on safe. Now, when conducting these performance checks, you need to make sure that first the weapon is unloaded, that the barrel has been cleared. If you do have a clearing barrel or a clearing pit, make sure you fire the weapon off in it first to make sure that you don't have any accidental discharges. The most important thing with dealing with weapons is to ensure the safety. Make sure that you're pointing the weapon in a safe direction just in case there's a round stuck in the chamber. Make sure that you properly unload it, and make sure that when you're performing the function checks that your safety works, that you go through all steps to ensure that this weapon is fully functional, and if you need it, will work in a time of need. I have seen in the past, we just had at my employment yesterday, accidental shooting. It was 2 sheriff's deputies. They had placed their weapons in a lockbox. Well, instead of placing it in the bottom of the box, they hung it on a peg. The weapon was left on fire, loaded with a round chambered. When they went in to grab their weapon, this type of weapon was a Colt 1911 45. The only 2 safeties is the back strap, which has a little depressing groove, and then the actual thumb safety that switches from safety to fire. When the deputy went to reach for his weapon, he grabbed that back saddle strap, pushing in that safety, and he had his weapon on fire. So when he pushed up on it, it hit that peg, depressing the trigger, and ended up causing a round to fire off inside the lockbox. Well, when the weapon recoiled, the weapon fired again and then fell off that peg. The first deputy had received injuries to his right side of his head that were superficial as just shrapnel because he was using hollow point ammo. The second deputy had minor abrasions and cuts on his arm due to the shrapnel coming out of this box. The most important thing that we can do when dealing with firearms is to make sure that we're using them in a safe manner. Make sure that your weapon is operating properly by doing a proper function check as I demonstrated. The steps are, as I'm going to repeat, First, you're going to place that weapon on safe. Make sure that it's clear. There is no ammo in it, no magazine, and there's no round stuck in that chamber. At that time, go ahead and slide your charging handle to the rear, release it, squeeze that trigger while it's on safe. If it does not fire, that's proper functions. Next, take your weapon, place it on fire, charge that weapon, let it slide back to the close the chamber. That time, go ahead and squeeze the trigger. If it fires, then it's functioning properly. Release that trigger, place it on semi or burst, pull that charging handle, fire it, hold the trigger to the rear, charge it 3 times, release that trigger. It's going to make a little clicking sound. That time, squeeze that trigger. If that hammer falls, then this weapon is performing properly. Remember, when dealing with weapons, to always remain safe. Thank you.